Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In War of the Visions, let's talk about Drain Force, and then this was a video that I wanted to make for a while, but I kept putting it off because I knew that it would take a lot of research and testing to find all the nuances of it, and then the payoff for it would be pretty low. The reason for that is because you have to build very specifically, and then it'll work in a very specific situation. It has great results, but it's still kind of like a novelty trick. Imagine trying to build Sasayaki for a certain resistance, but even being more focused than that. So yeah, it's not going to be for most people, I think. But three things recently pushed me to want to make this video. One was the release of Veenada in Global, along with her Trustmaster. And the second was pulling Luasa here, the first fire unit with the Drain Force. And then the third was some random giant ass on Reddit that had new information that was applicable to Drain Force, which was not on the Altema website, was not on Game8. So I was thankful for this new information, but this ass seemed more interested in using it to take me down a notch rather than trying to spread the knowledge. So I'm going to take that negativity, I'm going to judo flip it, and make something positive. A kind of an educational Drain Force video here. By the way, if you are that ass from Reddit, please leave a comment. That way I can know who you are and then I can immediately block you. You might have been hoping to take me down a notch, but instead you have unleashed my vinegary side, which my viewers seem to like to see. I try to keep it hidden, but here it is, so I'm going up a couple notches in their eyes at least. But anyway, Drain Force is a soldier job attack, and it ignores basically everything except for the user's max HP. And then depending on how much you level up the skill, the max is 37%. It will drain from the target the value of the user's max HP. So if my Stern has 1000 HP, he can drain about 370 HP from the target, regardless of attack resistances, regardless of defense and spirit, regardless of the target's max or current HP. Oh, and I guess irregardless is a word now. But anyway, I call this set damage, like a set value of damage. In Monster Strike it would be poison damage. In Brave Exvius it would be like Setzer damage. And then this is especially powerful against tanks or other characters with high defenses or high resistances. Because this can just ignore all of that. Of course, you could ignore everything that I say in this video, just stick to using Drain Force as an occasional attack in order to get a little bit of healing in there. And then just stick to your brainless, easy mode characters like Orlandu and Warrior of Light. But for those of you that wanted to go down the rabbit hole of Drain Force, here we go. And by the way, nothing at all against brainless, easy mode characters. I use them too. In my case, they're Agrius and Kitufe. Sometimes you don't want to think very much, so those characters are handy to have. I just wanted to see the Orlandu fanboys squirm a little. But anyway, if you wanted to maximize the drain value from Drain Force, then the easiest, most obvious way is going to get your HP up as high as you can. The problem is that most soldiers have low HP, and this is absolutely a design choice by Gumi. One thing you can do is not equip a weapon. Let's use a Stern here as an example. We'll just give him all the stuff in order to get the most HP. We'll give him Gold Armor Vital, +5. We can give him Federica's Accessory for another 400 there. And then last slot, we'll give him Ribbon, I guess, for 177. Of course, this is going to count for more once Global gets the stat stacking update. But we can see a little bit of HP there, and then Stern also has passive abilities, HP up. I can give him that for even more HP. But maybe more important than stacking up a lot of HP is going to be stacking Slayers. Slayers are going to be the other thing that are going to affect the final Drain Force value. And then in this video, I'm going to use Slayers, Eaters, and Killers all interchangeably. They all do the same thing. You get the inherent element advantage. So if you use a Stern here, he'll get a little bit more damage off of light characters. And so that should already be kind of getting the gears turning in your head. You know, which element characters have Drain Force, and then which would be good targets for those characters. And then there are some Slayers that we can get from the outside based on what you are equipping. Espers, this is a really good one. The best overall Esper for Drain Force is going to be Odin. And then if we look at his board, he has a 25 Man-Eater. And so this will work on all of the characters that the players use. This will work on everybody in PvP. And then that 25, that will just be added to the 37 of your max level Drain Force. So we're already getting pretty high numbers. And then as for the best Vision card, that's kind of up to debate. And then I'm going to be talking mostly from the point of view of JP. There were a few things that were nerfed in Global. I think mostly to nerf Drain Force. But if we look at the Odin Vision card, we can see a Man-Eater here that will be added to the character that uses the card. This is only 4, and then even if you max it, you get it to level 99. It will be only plus 10, so that's not a giant benefit. And yeah, you probably know how hard it is to max out a UR Vision card. So actually Odin, the Vision card, is not super awesome for Drain Force. Much better is going to be Lamia. This is an MR card. And then I don't even have it maxed, but it's already got 11 male killer. So against male units, you'll get another, 10, 15% on top of the 37 and then the 25 if you're using the Odin Esper. So this is a great card for Drain Force in JP. In Global, the male killer is changed to Wind Slayer, I think it is. So you'll be able to use this card and then use it against wind element units in order to get a bonus there. As it turns out, most of the kind of the tankier units in War of the Visions are males anyway, even though there's kind of like fewer of them overall. So the Lamia card works pretty well in JP. And I just need 11 more shards to max it out, so I would love to get one more pull of that. And then you can also get Elemental Slayers from Vision cards. There's a couple limited time cards, MR cards, from like Valentine's Day or something. I think they're standard pool in Global, so you could use those. But none of them really work really well with any characters or against any characters that you really need them, in Global especially, so they're not super necessary. But we can keep an eye out for future Vision cards that might give us Elemental Slayers. And then if we look at Trustmasters, there are a couple of Trustmasters that can give us Slayers. One is here. This is Vistral and his dagger. This has Dark Slayer as a passive ability. So we have to wait for a main job thief or assassin with a sub-job soldier that can use Drain Force before we can take advantage of that for Drain Force. Vistral, he does have the soldier sub-job, but he doesn't have Drain Force. I'm sure that too was a design decision. And then there's also, his katana gives Man-Eater. So again, we have to wait for a character that is main job samurai, sub-job soldier with Drain Force before we can take advantage of that there. And then if we go back to Espers, Odin is still the best overall choice because you don't have to worry about who you put it on or who you use it against. It's just going to work on all mans, so you'll just get the benefit there. And then that 25 is very high as well. A lot of the Espers, they'll have Elemental Slayers, but it'll only go up to like 15, 25 in some cases, in which case you might as well just use Odin. But there are some Espers that have both Man-Eater 15 and Elemental Slayer 15. One of them is Golem. He's kind of a funky one. He's got Man-Eater 15 and then Wind Slayer 15. So you could equip this Golem on an ice unit, fight wind units, and then get that extra benefit there. So the 15 plus 15, that would be 30. That's 5 more than Odin. I don't know if that would be worth the effort to raise another Esper just for that 5%, but I'll leave that to you. Another possibility is Kakitari. You can give him 15 Man-Eater, 15 Lightning Slayer. That could be good against lightning units. And who else? Bomb. He's got the Ice Eater and then the Man-Eater, 15 each, so 30 again there. And then there's the new Mind Flayer card. This one will have a Fire Eater and Man-Eater, 15 each, so you could put that on a water unit. The thing about the lower rarity espers, however, is that they have less like base HP. So like Kakitari here, 487, while Odin has 783. So yeah, you can get more HP from the greater rarity espers. I don't know which is better, that extra HP or the extra 5% Slayer. I'll leave that to you to figure out. Okay, and then finally that will bring us to Veenada's Trustmaster. These are her heals. And then this will give you a male killer, just like the Lamia card in JP. So you can put this on a female Drain Force user, like Urudoa or Eileen or Kiton, and then have them go after male characters like Engelbert or whatever, and then you'll get some extra Slayer in there. In Global, this was changed to Light Slayer, so you'll be able to go after Engelbert, Warrior of Light, Thancred, people like that. Still useful, but the character that can take the best advantage of the Light Slayer is Stern, because he already has the element advantage for being dark, but he can't wear heals, so he won't be able to use that. If in the future there is a female dark unit that has Drain Force, then they can use Veenada's heals, and they'll get better effect for their Drain Force. And by the way, you don't need to aim for the super ideal situation, because it's actually kind of hard to put together and get. You could just get like 50% Drain Force or like 60 or 70. You don't need to aim for over 100. It's still going to be very useful. Okay, but I think those are all the sources of Slayers that we can get. Next, let's talk about all of the characters that can use Drain Force. First one is Stern. He'll get the advantage on light units, and then there's lots of tanky characters in light. So Engelbert, Thancred, Mashidi, she's kind of tanky for a healer, Warrior of Light, and then Inori actually. And she's a great target for Drain Force because her HP is really low. Drain Force is just going to cut through all that and probably one-punch her. Another Drain Force user is Urudoa. She's an upcoming wind unit, so you can use her against the tankiest Earth characters, maybe Mont, and then Kirufe, and then Tsubayaki. Another Drain Force user is Christmas Ramada, not released in Global. It'd be interesting to see how they change her character, if at all, in order to keep her up with the meta. But as a water unit, she'll do great against fire units, so Rain in particular, she would be good against him. And who else we got? Here's Luasa. She's the newest Drain Force unit. She's fire, so she'll be good against beefy ice characters, so Agrias, Gilgamesh, and then Nasia in particular. And then there's Eileen and Kiton. They're both Earth element. They will be good against lightning characters, so the beefiest ones here, I guess, would be Lavius, an MR tank, and then Orlando. And then Eileen, of all of the characters that can use Drain Force, she has the highest base HP, so that's another reason to like Eileen. And that might be all of them, UR at least. There's also the MR card, Shuzelt. He is Lightning Element. He will be good against beefy water characters, which is not really a thing. Miranda's kind of beefy, and then also Tyrrell, so you could use Shuzelt's Drain Force on them to good effect. Okay, next, let's look at some examples of how much damage we can get. First, let's use Stern, take him against some light characters. I have the golden armor again for lots of HP. I'm giving him the male Slayer Lamia card, Odin Esper, and then some other accessories to give him HP, and then the HP up passive ability, 3400 HP. Okay, Drain Force. We'll target Engelbert, and 3000 damage. That's amazing damage against a tank like Engelbert, so I think we're already seeing the benefit there. And so that comes out to like, I'm not good at math, but like 80% HP from Stern that he is doing drain damage on his targets. And then a little bit less on Inori here because she's not a male, which will not get the Lamia buff there. Okay, next let's bring Urudoa. She is a wind element unit. All the same equipment as Stern, except she's wearing Veenada's heels in order to get the male killer there. And then I'll bring an off-element unit so we can see what kind of hit the drain value takes there. Okay, 3000 HP there from Urudoa, not great. Although she's using the heals, that's a little bit less HP for her. Okay, but 2000 damage on Kitufe, that is amazing. Okay, 2600 on Mont. Again, that is that Lamia card coming into play. And then finally, let's target Adorado. So yeah, not as much because he's not Earth element, but still, pretty good damage. Okay, and then here, let's use the active ability from Veenada's Trustmaster. We'll pick up additional Maneater. And we'll move my guys into position. And then although all of the guys that I'm targeting, I have a 100% chance to hit, it's not a guaranteed hit on anybody. You're not going to run into a lot of tanky units that are also evady, but like Orlando in particular, I've seen some evasion builds of him, so you want to be careful there. I wouldn't go out of your way to add accuracy on top of all of the other HP and Slayers and stuff, but it's just something to be aware of. Okay, but we're seeing the boost on like Adorado and Mont because we have the additional male killer from Veenada's Trustmaster. Okay, next I'm going to use Christmas Ramada. She is a water unit. And then the nice benefit of her is that I got the water ring from the recent tower in JP, and that will give you almost 400 HP. So that's a real nice source of HP, and then she can use Veenada's heals as well. And then we'll go against some fire units. Don't have rain still. Okay, 2500 on Christmas Mashidi, that's pretty crazy. Okay, almost 3000 on Erode, that's crazy. I remember once in a PvP, I played against a Kiton, and she did 3000 damage on one of my guys using Drain Force, and that wasn't even a lightning unit, I think. So yeah, that kind of woke me up to the idea of Drain Force as a very damaging skill. But yeah, it just goes to show the importance of watching PvP, or watching even your own units just in farming easy quests, because you can learn how to use the characters better, and then you can also get an idea of like the possibilities of some things, and you might be surprised by what other people think of. Another reason why I really like PvP. Okay, so still the same 2500 on Christmas Mashiri, 2500 there on Luasa, and then 35 on Erode. And yeah, that's how we get over 100%. It's just by stacking the killers over and over and over. So yeah, that is a look at Drain Force. It works in very specific situations, as you can see. It can surprise some people if you can pull it off. And then it might be more useful in the tower, actually, than in PvP. You know exactly who's coming, and then you have characters in there with like very high resistances that are hard to hit. So that will be useful in there. And then there are still a few elements that don't have any Drain Force users. I think there's still no light character with Drain Force. When that does come around, Sasayaki's going to be in trouble. I think there's still no ice unit with Drain Force, so wind characters are safe for the moment. But if there does come to be one, you could put the Golem Esper on them, and then there's the Lamia Killer, which has the Wind Slayer on there. So that'll be a good combo there. But yeah, it could be worth keeping an eye out for like equipment and vision cards and stuff with Slayers, and then like see who you've got soldiers that have Drain Force. Okay, I think that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.